Quinn carries the secret of a stolen child from her past. When she finally learns the name of the woman who took her son, she embarks on a dangerous quest for the truth, all while falling in love with a widower with 3 children. But as she delves deeper, she begins to suspect a chilling connection between her past and present, leaving her to question everything and risk losing the happiness she's found. Could Jake, Fred's son, be the child she lost? And will her pursuit of the truth shatter the fragile happiness she's built with Fred and his children?
Code blue. Dr. Murphy. Code blue. Immediately, Quinn jumped up and grabbed her lab coat. I'm sorry, Marcy, a patient needs me. Marcy squeezed her shoulder and waved her on. Quinn slammed the door of the operating room open. Her team of doctors and assistants huddled around an elderly man on a gurney. Quinn recognized the man as Mr. Bernstein. She'd performed surgery on him just the previous day after he'd been injured in a horrific car crash. Mr. Bernstein now cried out in pain. He clutched his head. Another wound bloomed from his chest beneath his hospital gown. He's crashing. He's been pulling at his stitches, saying there's something on the inside, Quinn's assistant told her. Quinn nodded. She focused on the patient. Quinn placed a comforting hand on Mr. Bernstein's shoulder. Mr. Bernstein, we need you to take some deep breaths. We are here to help you. He ignored her and thrashed his arms around and yelled, Save me, please! Something's wrong, please! Save me! Quinn grasped his hand and looked into his eyes. Mr. Bernstein, I'm going to take care of you, just like I did before. But we have to sedate you now, okay? Quinn spoke calmly and slowly. He screamed louder. You didn't help me the last time! Quinn looked to her anesthesiologist, who was setting up Mr. Bernstein's IV. Could you move any faster here? The anesthesiologist nodded away Quinn's brashness and injected the IV with the anesthesia. Mr. Bernstein cried out once more before he closed his eyes. Monitor his heart rate. He shouldn't be under too long at his age. We need to work fast, Quinn instructed her team. They nodded to her and began to work around her to clean the wound and restitch the skin. What happened? Quinn asked her assistant. He was fine last night post-surgery. Were there more complications? How were his vitals overnight? The assistant looked down at his tablet and scrolled through the patient's information. His vitals were normal until just now. He was recovering in the post-op when he started screaming. Jesus, Quinn whispered. Did we miss something? Maybe it's internal bleeding. Quinn leaned down to inspect Mr. Bernstein, whose heart rate dipped. Alarms went off on all the machines in the room. We're losing him! Defibrillator and start compressions now! Quinn screamed as she pressed down on his chest and began compressions. She stood back as a nurse charged up and administered the defibrillator to Bernstein's ailing chest. 1 shock. 2 shocks. The nurse looked at Quinn. 3 shocks. Nothing. All the monitors were silent. Mr. Bernstein was gone. Later that day, Quinn stared at the empty gurney in the quiet operating room. She'd sent her team home hours earlier. She wandered around the room while she looked at printouts of the man's heart rate. Dr. Crawford entered the room and placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. Quinn tossed the paperwork aside. She rubbed at her forehead in exhaustion. I don't know what happened. He was stable when we put him under. Scared, but we had him under control. I had him under control. Everyone loses patience, even brilliant surgeons like you. A post-mortem will show the cause. Probably a clot or internal bleeding, nothing you could have done, Dr. Crawford reassured her. Quinn took a long breath in and out. It never gets easier. No, it doesn't, Dr. Crawford agreed. But staying in here and torturing yourself isn't helping. Quinn hung her head in her hands for a moment. You're right. Has the family been notified? That's why I came in here. Mr. Bernstein's son is in the lobby. His name is Brad. Quinn exhaled. She closed her eyes. I would like to be the one to give him the news. Quinn walked with heavy steps into the hospital lobby. She clutched Mr. Bernstein's file to her chest. Brad Bernstein? Quinn called out. A man in a black hoodie stood up. His face was tear-stained. Quinn held out her hand. My name is Quinn Murphy. I'm the surgeon who is taking care of your father. I'm so sorry for your loss. Brad kept his hands in his hoodie. He glared at Quinn. Quinn took a step back from him. Sir, I assure you, and I promise you, we did everything we could to save your father. You're a liar. Brad pulled out a gun. Brad, please, calm down. You let him die, Brad screamed. Stay still, Quinn froze. Please, I have young children. Children who need me, please. Shut up, Brad roared. Shut up! Brad's hand stopped shaking. He pointed the gun right into Quinn's face. Quinn squeezed her eyes shut. A shot rang out across the hospital lobby.
The sound of the gunshot echoes through the sterile halls, shattering the silence. Who fired the shot? Was it Brad, or did someone else intervene? Is Quinn injured? What will happen to Brad? How will this tragic event impact Quinn's career and personal life?
Hey, I'm Jenny. If you're wondering what happens next, download the Pocket FM app now and listen to the exciting episodes of A Mother's Battle.